Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you are ready for a new superhero deep dive. As always, I am your host Jason. I have a pretty darn good episode scheduled for you today. I'm going to be covering Nico Minoru. You may know her from Marvel's Runaways, the live action series, and the amazing comic book. You may have seen her in the Marvel Universe. She's awesome. Let me get my disclaimers out of the way and we will get into this. So, the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give you really good insight on the current superhero. You can always catch me every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their website is outworldfleetradio.online. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram under superdeepdive. I try to use the hashtag superherodeepdive. You can email me directly at b4itall, so b4itall at yahoo.com. Or you can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive, where you can like, comment, subscribe, give any critiques, give any fun facts I may have missed, have a conversation about the heroes, view funny cat or animal videos, view superhero memes on a daily basis, and put in requests for future episodes. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. But other than that, I think that's it. DMs are always open on Twitter, Instagram, so please feel free. I get emails quite frequently, so kudos for that. This week I am covering Nico Minoru. Like I said, she is a Marvel hero. She's a magic user. She's from Runaways, which had a live action show as well as the comic series. So, every year, Nico's parents join 5 other couples in a charity event. One year, Nico and the other kids spy on their parents, and they were shocked to discover that Nico's father was speaking an enchantment, and after witnessing the murder of an innocent girl by their parents, who were part of a group called the Pride. That's kind of like a supervillain group in the Los Angeles area. Nico joins the others in their massive ransack to run away from their parents. While on the run, Nico Minoru encounters her parents, her mother wielding a large staff with a ball at the end called the Staff of One, reveals that she and Nico's father are dark wizards. She then attempts to jam the staff into Nico's chest, but Nico's body absorbs it. After she is later cut by Dale York's samurai battle axe, which I don't really know what that is, the Staff of One reemerges from her chest, which prompts Nico to use the phrase freeze, and freeze Stacy Yorks. It is revealed that Nico is actually a witch, and that the staff only emerges when she bleeds. Sometime after running off, Nico takes on the name Sister Grimm to escape the name her parents gave her, but drops it after a while. After team leader Alex outs himself as the mole amongst the group and is defeated along with the Pride, Nico is accepted as the group's leader. In 2007, I don't want to say 2007. In 2007, the magic-related crossover event, Mystic Arcana, fills the gap between Runaways number 17 and 18, which is the time that Nico at Father Flanagan's home for unwanted goth kids. Wow, that's kind of specific, right? The story begins with Nico dressed in a Japanese schoolgirl outfit, of course it is, stating that it's perhaps time to let go of the goth trend. She is soon talked into going to a nightclub with her friends where she meets her parents' old rival, Marie Laveau, and Laveau seeks revenge on Nico's parents for stealing the Black Mirror, one of the 4 cornerstones of creation. After Laveau explains that she needs Nico's blood to activate the Black Mirror, Nico gives Laveau her blood while also purging out the Staff of One. The two fight and Nico easily wins. Nico attempts to bring Alex Wilder using the mirror, however the spell fails, the mirror shatters, and the last page of the Darkhold is revealed behind the glass. Laveau takes it and flees while Nico accepts her place as an outcast with the Runaways. Artist Dave Sexton revealed Nico was one of the 4 magic characters chosen for the story art because each character relates to some elemental themes. Magic, who we did a deep dive on, represents air and logic. The Black Knight represents the earth and tools, which I think we did a deep dive on him as well. The Scarlet Witch represents water and emotions. Didn't do one on her. You know enough about her. While Nico represented fire and wands. As Nico must deliver blood in order to produce her staff, fire and sacrifice proved to be very similar to Tarot's minor arcana suit of wands. Though C.B. Cebulski wrote the Sister Grimm portion of Mystic Arcana, Runaways creator Brian Vaughan lent some assistance. After being warned of a future threat named Victor Mancha, Nico and the Runaways find and abduct Victor to question him. After Victor's mother is murdered and Father Ultron is destroyed, Nico invites Victor to become part of the team, much to the anger of some members, notably Chase. Nico reassures them that she is willing to rip Victor's damn heart out if necessary, and after Victor ties Nico up before he attempts to sacrifice himself to the Gibborim? Gibborim? How was that pronounced? I don't know. Gibborim? Gibborim sounds fine. That sounds mystical, right? That sounds like something Tolkien would have. Anyways, he's gonna sacrifice himself. Nico interprets it as a cry for help and leads the Runaways to intervene to stop Chase's self-sacrifice. The Gibborim instead attempt to take Nico, revealing that Nico's soul is innocent, thus suitable for the Gibborim's consumption. Victor rescues Nico and the two form a relationship. After defeating the Gibborim, Victor asks Nico what she's willing to do if Chase does something like this again. Nico responds by saying she is willing to rip Chase's damn heart out if necessary. After returning to their lair beneath the La Brea tar pits, Xavin realizes that she had publicly exposed their location, drawing the attention of Iron Man and S.H.I.E.L.D. Nico, stepping into her role as a leader, leads the Runaways in a cross-country escape from Iron Man and S.H.I.E.L.D. After escaping the authorities, the Runaways head to New York, where Nico anxiously makes a deal with the Kingpin. In a twisted turn of events, the Runaways end up time displaced in 1907 New York, where Nico is kidnapped and brought to a woman named the Witchbreaker. The Witchbreaker claims she is Nico's great-grandmother and states that she will teach Nico how to withstand more pain and therefore wield more magic with better proficiency. She wields a weapon similar to the Staff of One, but with more adornments. When reunited with her comrades, a significant development in Nico's ability is evident, where she is freely able to float, displays more proficiency and confidence in casting spells, and is able to use a spell with an effect more complicated than those of her others thus far. It is revealed that Nico had obtained the Witchbreaker staff. Little more information is given to how Nico and her ancestors' meeting had ended, though the official handbook on the Marvel Universe's more recent edition says that Nico had escaped her. During this period, Victor falls in love with another girl, corrupting his relationship with Nico. Now, during the global shape-shifting alien invasion by the Skrulls, Nico and the other Runaways briefly remain in New York after returning from 1907, trusting that hiding in plain sight would be sufficient to conceal their own identities, and that it would be best if they showed Clara around her city in the future before they returned to Los Angeles. However, to their shock, an armada of Skrull ships attack New York and its civilians. Xavin, trying to fool the invaders into thinking she intends to help them, uses a force field to knock out the Runaways. Nico and Victor are still unconscious, however, and they attack Xavin. They're still conscious, however, and they attack Xavin, accusing her of being a traitor. Xavin reveals that she is trying to protect them and convinces them that the Skrulls are too dangerous for them to fight, and pleading with them to flee to the Leapfrog. I'm assuming that's their ship. The Runaways eventually unite with the Young Avengers to assist against the invading Skrulls, and Nico insists on leading her team to help the Young Avengers continue their fight against the Skrulls, refusing to run away. However, Wiccan urges her to leave, claiming that if the Young Avengers lose, they will need the Runaways to save them. Nico then uses a spell called Scatter to scatter a group of invading, Majestanians? Sure, why not? Majestanians all over the planet. The spell, however, had unwanted side effects. It emotionally scatters the Runaways. Victor realizes this in time, and Nico spearheads a massive escape from the returning Majestanians. A short time later, the Runaways realize that having obeyed Nico, they broke the enchantment. Regardless, Zaven shapeshifts into Carolina, and leaves Earth, much to the other Runaways' great grief. Wow, so this is a lot. Like, she's showing how immensely powerful she is, but there's just, you never know what you're gonna get. Like, the control isn't fully there yet. So later on, Nico uses the spell Zombie Knot to turn an army of zombies back into humans. So this is Zombie Knot N-O-T, not K-N-O-T. I wonder what would have happened if the Staff of Ones thought it was Zombie K-N-O-T. Would they all be like pretzeled together? Let's find out. Because I may have gotten ahead of myself. I wrote this a few days ago, and I may have gotten ahead of myself. So they turned an army of zombies back to humans. The spell backfiring turns the zombies into an actual zombie knot, K-N-O-T, thus creating one large zombie. Dang it. I knew it. I knew I'd get ahead of myself. I'm sorry. It's been so much lately. Alright. The Runaways deduced that after the Witchbreaker tortured and trained Nico, Nico's magical abilities have been greatly augmented. Val Ryman's magician informs Nico that the Staff of One carries tremendous magical ability, and Nico, being young, should not use it. The magician steals the staff from her, only to be killed after the staff defends itself. A silent Nico takes her staff back and warns the other Runaways not to touch it. Like, don't touch my stuff. At the 2009 Emerald City Comic Con, writer Brian Bendis implied that Nico might be one of the magicians sought by former Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange, seeing as the search is not done yet. Although the title went to Brother Voodoo, her image appeared as one of many candidates the Eye of Agamotto considered to assume the role of the new Sorcerer Supreme. I believe we did a deep dive on Brother Voodoo as well. I don't know, this is number 124. So I've done 123 other people before this. It's possible. I'm pretty sure I remember doing a slideshow. I'm a little bit more visual than I am anything else, so yeah. Anyway, Nico also makes a non-speaking cameo in Strange number 4 as one of the powerful mages Doctor Strange asked to stop using their powers for an hour. As part of the Marvel Now event in the pages of Avengers Arena, Nico is abducted by the Villain Arcade and placed on a special island version of Murder World. The Staff of One has its power drastically reduced for an unexplained reason, which is basically because the story commands it, preventing her not only from being able to act out against Arcade or the island, but also requiring dozens of spells just to successfully grow food to eat. After mounting a frontal attack on Apex and Justin Seyffert's Sentinel, Nico loses the Staff of One when she is dismembered by Chase, who is now in possession of the Darkhawk armor, which I did do a deep dive on Darkhawk as well, and thrown off a cliff. She then crawls to the Staff of One and tries to cast the spell Help, but bleeds out before the staff can act. The staff then resurrects her, using her massive blood loss as a sacrifice to grant her enough power to disarm Deathlocket. That's right, I did say Deathlocket. I think that's like a little girl version of Deathlock, if I remember correctly. Destroy the Darkhawk armor, and defeat Apex by trapping her underground. Chase returns to his normal self and then helps Nico and Reptile fight a possessed Cullen, who turns into glitter. I'm sorry, if you get that joke, I apologize. If you don't get that joke, I still apologize, because it was a bad joke. In the ensuing battle, Nara is killed, returning Cullen to human form, and Anachronism goes wild. Reptile asks Nico and Chase for help breaking up the fight, but Nico insists that she and Chase stay out of it. At Nico's command, Chase then turns into Darkhawk and sucker punches Reptile as part of some secret plan that he and Nico devised. Chase showed regret at having to attack Reptile, but when Chase refused to let Cammy stop Nico, she broke his arm and leg, taking the Darkhawk amulet for herself in order to stop Nico from killing everyone. Cammy gives Chase the amulet again when Apex unleashes bugs, sentient typhoons, and weaponized sand to attack the remaining teens on Murder World. Soon afterwards, Deathlocket stops the fight by killing Apex, and everyone is able to escape Murder World and disperse. Once news broke out about Arcade's kidnappings, Nico and the other Murder World survivors became infamous. Nico has dyed her hair slightly red and still sports the witch arm she gained in the fight with Apex. She also has the power to teleport and create floating and cloaking spells. To the other Runaways' horror, she and Chase fight during one of Chase's interviews on the talk show, criticizing Chase for breaking their pact of silence, which was made moot when Arcade released the video. She then teleported Chase away from the set. However, when Anachronism reveals Bloodstone's gone missing, all the survivors team up and head to Begalia to find him. On their way in, Nico berates Chase for saying they're family, pointing out that he only came with them because she made him. Once they find Bloodstone, he reveals that he enjoys life amongst the villains, and the others, minus Cammy, start to enjoy it as well. Nico tries to convince Bloodstone to come back with him, but he refuses. Damon Hellstrom has been helping Cullen control his monster, and he offers to help Nico with her upgraded powers too. When Cammy tries to tell the others to leave, Bloodstone instead has Hellstrom teleport the group to Arcade's latest party so they can confront him. Hazmat uses this opportunity to kill Arcade. Baron Zemo then tells them that they have two choices, which is to join them or be returned to the surface to be punished by S.H.I.E.L.D. Nico comes up with a third option though, pretending to join Zemo, and destroy his organization from the inside. She works closely with Hellstrom to strengthen her magical powers, and eventually they unwittingly feed the two Avengers information planted by Zemo in order to trap the Avengers in Begalia, and then steal S.H.I.E.L.D.'s helicarrier. Cammy stops Zemo and reveals Arcade is actually alive, and since only a body double was killed, S.H.I.E.L.D. drops any charges against the teens. She is last seen enjoying some vacation time on a lake with the rest of the group in the final issue of the series. Wow. Okay, let's keep going because she's still got more. She's got a lot of adventures here. During the Secret Wars storyline, A-Force, the defenders of the matriarchal battleworld nation of Arcadia, responds to a megalodon attack while on routine patrol. During the attack, America Chavez throws the shark across the shield, the wall that separates their borders, thus breaking the laws of Emperor Doom, and is subsequently arrested by Doom's enforcers, the Thor Corps. Despite appeals from She-Hulk, the Baroness of Arcadia, Chavez is sentenced to spend the rest of her life on the wall. In response, She-Hulk tasks the Submariners Namor and Namorita, and Namora, I did do a deep dive on Namorita, I believe, to find the source of the Megalodon attack. Meanwhile, Nico, lamenting the loss of Chavez, comes across a mysterious figure that fell out of the sky. The Submariners discover a large portal in the ocean's depths, but it implodes as they draw near. Later, at the behest of Loki, Minoru introduces her new friend to She-Hulk. When Medusa accuses the Stranger, a sentient pocket universe, of creating the portal, a sentinel falls from another portal and attacks the team. During the fight, the newcomer saves Dazzler and convinces She-Hulk that she is not the cause. After destroying the sentinel, She-Hulk decides to travel through the still open portal and investigate the source itself. She-Hulk arrives at the post-apocalyptic Manhattan, and after a brief encounter with more Sentinels, she is chased back to Arcadia by the Thor Corps. The Thor Corps follow in pursuit, but Medusa manages to repel them back into the portal and is killed in the process. When the Thor Corps return, She-Hulk alerts the citizens of Arcadia that there is a traitor in their midst that is spreading discontent and vows to bring them to justice, as she and the other A-Forcers go into hiding inside the newcomer. The newcomer smuggles A-Force outside the city, where She-Hulk realizes that the portal's energy is of Asgardian origin, and they deduce that the traitor is Loki. Like, come on. Come on! That seems like it should be like one of your top people to assume, but I don't know. Alright. Let's see here. Okay, I'm skipping this part. Let's see here. Okay, now the newcomer is called Singularity, by the way. I should do a deep dive on her because I don't know a lot about her. I think if it's the person I'm thinking of, she looks like a living universe. So, I'm going to put that in right now. Singularity. Okay. So this will be on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Page 5. Alright. Alright. Let's see here. Okay, following the Secret War storyline, Singularity awakes in the primary Earth 616 universe and quickly spots Carol Danvers, but Danvers does not recognize her. Unbeknownst to Singularity, she is being pursued by a similar being named Antimatter. While Carol Danvers confronts Antimatter, Singularity flees to New York City. With Antimatter still in pursuit, Singularity locates She-Hulk, who does not remember her either, and asks for help. As the pair fight Antimatter, Medusa arrives with reinforcements to take Singularity into custody. Blah blah blah. I am looking to see where Nico is brought back into the story. Because it's kind of crazy. Alright. Let's see here. I see something. Alright. Okay. So She-Hulk is fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, as they do. I don't know. Okay. Because the thing about this is there are some parts when I'm getting the information, seems really relevant. And then a few days later when I start rereading, I'm like, this isn't that necessary. And I really don't need 2 pages of just more junk. Okay, so there is not a lot here for Nico Minoru. I apologize. She is part of this. She's part of the A-Force stuff, but her stuff kind of like comes and goes, which is fine. It's just, whatever. All right. Let's see here. During the Civil War II storyline, after She-Hulk is gravely wounded in a battle with Thanos, Carol Danvers tells Minoru that the inhuman Ulysses had a vision of her killing a woman named Alice. Refusing to be arrested for a crime that she has not yet committed, Minoru flees to a safe house in Ouray, Colorado. O-U-R-A-Y? Is that Ouray or Ouray? Let me know, especially if you're from there. I want to know. But unbeknownst to Nico Minoru, the town is under attack from a swarm of giant bugs. Minoru encounters Elsa Bloodstone. Bloodstone informs Minoru that the attack is a result of an infection that is turning the populace into insects, and then takes her to meet Janine, whose daughter Alice has gone missing during the commotion. Meanwhile, Danvers and Medusa race to find Minoru before Dazzler and Singularity who disagree with their methods. Okay, yeah, they're trying to find her before Dazzler and Singularity do. Okay, Danvers and Medusa find Minoru and Bloodstone just before Dazzler and Singularity arrive. After a brief confrontation, they agree to split into two teams, one to find Alice and the other to protect civilians. That seems logical, right? While searching for Alice in an abandoned mine, Danvers, Minoru, and Bloodstone are attacked by a giant bug. Okay, let me ask you something. If you have someone coming in being like, you're destined to kill this person, wouldn't you automatically want to be on the team that isn't looking for that person? That's what I would think, because I don't want to be in that situation where I would have to kill her. I would try to avoid it by avoiding that situation altogether, but no, not them. Like, we need a couple of you guys to do crowd control. The other of us are going to look for this person. You, who's destined to kill them, come on, you're coming with us. We're going to find her. It's bad planning, bad writing. Sorry. Okay, anyway, the bug incapacitates Danvers and Bloodstone before telepathically communicating to Minoru that she is Alice and has been inadvertently infecting the townspeople after her transformation. Alice tells Minoru that killing her is the only way to save the people. When Minoru refuses, an infected Bloodstone threatens to kill Danvers. Medusa, Singularity, and an infected Dazzler are overrun by bugs and regroup with the others just as Bloodstone infects Danvers. After Dazzler infects Medusa, Minoru casts a spell of transformation to transform Alice back into a human, but it does not cure the rest of the populace. Alex explains that she must be killed, and Minoru reluctantly casts a death spell on Alice, which transforms the infected back into humans. Alice then re-emerges in her final form. This is like she went Super Saiyan. And tells A-Force that she is no longer a threat as she now has greater control of her powers. When the commotion is over, Danvers and Minoru continue to disagree over each other's actions, but agree to visit She-Hulk together in the hospital. Wow. So she is like insanely powerful. What do you guys think of Nico Minoru? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, you can catch me on Twitter or Instagram under superdeepdive. You can email me at b4itall, so b4itall@yahoo.com. And you can find me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell. I don't know, whatever you need to, but every comment gets acknowledged. I would love to have a conversation about Nico Minoru, because I've always been a fan. She's just got so much going on. But let me get to her powers. Alright, Nico, being a witch, uses magic as her weapon. In the early issues, her sole weapon had been the Staff of One, which is an ancient magical staff that can cast any spell imaginable. The staff, however, comes with two limitations. First, and more importantly, Nico cannot cast the same spell twice, or the spell will misfire and a random effect will occur. For example, the second time she tried to cast Freeze, she produced pelicans, and the second time she attempted to cast a fumigation spell, the staff teleported Nico and Carolina miles to the Los Angeles desert. The second limitation of the Staff of One is that it cannot be used to bring people back from the dead. Nico discovered this limitation when she tried to resurrect Alex Wilder, and explained why she could not magically revive the deceased future version of Gertrude Yorks. Tina Minoru, the staff's owner previous to Nico, mentions that the staff even made Dormammu, who is Doctor Strange, big bad guy, a demonic entity with vast magical powers far surpassing that of even the Sorcerer Supreme, made him tremble, and that it gave the wielder all the power of the past, present, and future. And when she turns herself, Robert, Minoru, and the Steins into their villain costumes, in Civil War Young Avengers Runaway, Nico successfully casts a tunneling spell using a Latin phrase supplied to her by the Vision even without knowing its meaning. That's kind of crazy. Only Nico can summon the staff, but initially anyone could cast spells with it. When not in use, the staff retreats into her body, which Nico describes as feeling like I have something in my eye, but instead of my eye, it's my soul. You know, which is interesting because I actually have like a blocked tear duct right now. It's like every so often dirt will block it, and it's like it's an itch, but it's not like a persistent itch. It's just every so often it's just like, man, that really sucks. Anyway, early in Volume 1, Nico would cut herself to release a staff, often using Chase's switchblade. As the series progressed, Nico found alternative ways to make herself bleed, including brushing her gums for extended periods of time and having Gert's dinosaur old lace bite her arm. During her monthly menstrual cycle, Nico does not need to cut herself to evoke the staff because she's already bleeding. Sorry, that's kind of crass, but it's there, and they actually made a point to mention that one time. The staff always emerges from the center of her chest and passes through any clothing she is wearing without damaging it, or Nico. However, the staff will damage anyone or anything directly in its way when ejected from Nico's body. For example, the staff emerged after the vampire Topher began to drain Nico's blood and pierced directly through the center of his chest. Nico cannot truly control what kind of effect her spells will have. She must conjure up painful memories to cast the spell, as well as imagining anything that makes her feel guilty. In the Mystic Arcana series, Nico is said to have far greater magical potential than even she had realized, as the last living heir to the clan Minoru. Nico overwhelms Marie Laveau in a matter of moments, despite all of Marie's magical experience and powers, and discovers that the roots of her family legacy are deeper than even she imagined, with her being the only person alive capable of unlocking the Black Mirror. Nico is told that she has stepped into the dark path and that she and Marie shall meet again, for all those who step onto the dark path are destined to travel that road together. On occasion, however, she has cast spells without resorting to the staff, such as creating an image of Alex Wilder with the palm of her hand. Time and space are also crucial limitations to the power of the staff. All spells shown cast by it only have a temporary effect, and the effect of these spells weaken as the distance between Nico and the target increases. In Runaways Volume 2, number 17, it is revealed that if Nico steps into the path of the ashes of dead wizards, her powers will not work at all. How can she tell? What if they're just ashes that have been there for years and years? How can you tell? Just randomly, oh, my powers aren't working. I must be near some ashes. Let me take a step over to the right. I don't get it. I just don't. But anyway, Nico's time with the Witchbreaker has granted her a newer version of the Staff of One, similar to the original, but with more adornments and a larger ring. The ball at the original staff, or the ball that the original staff had, was also removed. Nico can now wield its powers and cast spells with greater proficiency than before, even floating under her own power instead of using the staff, as Nico had already cast a variety of levitation enchantments before. Furthermore, Victor Mancha also questions how Nico is floating, apparently indicating that this was indeed not of the staff's own magic. Nico can now cast a variety of spells without using her staff, bringing her closer to her parents' abilities. It is unknown where the Staff of One is now, though her new staff, regardless of its precise origins, is summoned in exactly the same method as the former. More recently, Nico's staff has displayed an ability to defend itself. The staff now reacts violently towards anyone other than Nico who attempts to use it, turning into a demon or dragging and devouring that individual. Later in Daken Dark Wolverine, she shows that her spells can be extremely detailed when she freezes Daken with freeze to the exact temperature and aesthetic appearance of a cheap popsicle from a 7-Eleven, though she still has the one spell rule. After her murder by Apex and subsequent resurrection, Nico once again received a new staff of 1 with a new design up top. This staff was also shorter and did not extend to the ground and could be touched by anyone, as Apex proved that could be summoned back to Nico upon command. Nico was also granted a new left arm where she could perform spells without holding the staff of 1. According to the resurrected Alex, the left arm was clearly a more powerful conduit of dark magic than even the staff of 1. This upgrade increased her dark powers and allowed her to enter a blind rage where her magic is more powerful as she runs purely on instinct. Wow. As mentioned before, Nico is capable of doing essentially anything, her magic seemingly being reality warping in nature. But as of now, she has been shown to manipulate time, death, emotions, hellfire, energy, manipulate the power of others, weather, the rotation of the earth, manipulate matter, probability, warp reality, erase people from existence, teleport, heal herself and others, cast illusions, fly, create pocket dimensions, make herself and others invisible, grant abilities, create shields, use telekinesis, summon astral projections, shut down others' magic, and share her full conscious into multiple bodies. That is insane. That is insane. Nico is also Japanese American, just like me. Yay. She is also shown to be a very emotional person. She expresses feelings for Alex Walter during their original getaway, but is hesitant to start a romance. After Alex saves her from a vampire attack, sometimes later she begins to date him. This pattern of seeking physical or romantic comfort with people during stressful or intense situations follows Nico throughout the remainder of the series. Despite this, Nico proves her loyalty to the Runaways when Alex betrays the group and offers her a seat in the new world promised by the Pride's biblical benefactors, the Gibborim. She refuses Alex's offer brutally and helps usher her friends to safety. Nico is sent to Father Flanagan's home for unwanted goth kids. However, the group organizes a mass escape from their homes to begin life as full-time vigilantes. Nico is generally accepted as a team leader there as well. When Nico takes the leadership position, it proves that she has the intelligence and courage to make difficult decisions. One notable example is a risky decision in leaving Zaven to battle a resurrected Jeffrey Wilder, herself saying Zaven knew the risks. In another incident where the Punisher was holding them at gunpoint and she was seriously injured by being punched in the stomach by Molly, who has super strength. When the others expressed concern about his condition, Nico flatly stated that she wasn't going to waste a healing spell on him. Nico also kisses Chase after he negotiates their way out of a potentially fatal situation with an interdimensional drug dealer. This causes a falling out between Nico and Chase's girlfriend Gert, almost dissolving the team from the inside. Wow. Let's see here. Nico also became very isolated and unstable after the events of Avengers Arena, where she was dismembered, resurrected, and ultimately survived Murder World, having almost no contact with the Runaways, even ignoring Molly's birthday. She explains that she was destroyed after the events of the arena. She was terrified of her new powers and was likely suffering from severe post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And seeing Chase's return to normal after the experience only made her hurt more. Wow, I can understand that. Sometimes it's easier to suffer when you know someone else is suffering with you. So when someone else seems to heal or progress further, it can make you feel isolated and alone. Because if they could do it, why can't you yet? Like, why aren't you healed yet? You know? So fun facts. Brandon Zachary of Comic Book Resources, or CBR.com, referred to Nico as a breakout star, writing of all the runaways, it makes a certain amount of sense that Nico would be the breakout lead. As one of the more assertive and overtly powerful members of the group, Nico often took center stage in battles and crossovers with other groups. Her mystical abilities allowed her to keep with other heroes in terms of raw power, and justifies her appearances in other stories when teammates like the relatively human Gert and Chase realistically can't. Her status as an Asian American and LGBTQ+ character allows her to represent an often overlooked demographic in comics, giving these communities a chance to shine. While the Runaways still exist in the Marvel Universe, Nico is really the only one who has blown up in any kind of popularity. So, yeah. Although the entire cast has ties to a larger universe and played important roles in stories, Nico has outshone her teammates. While it's a shame that the rest of the characters haven't been as central to the universe as Nico, it's still a sign that their legacy lives on. So Tom Nabok, I guess, of Comics First stated, "You may be wondering why Nico getting to be in a relationship with the girl she likes is such a big deal. There's already a canon LGBTQ+ character in Runaways, even without Nico. Certainly, Carolina is great. In fact, Carolina has stood out as a fundamental gay character in the comics for a while. There's something to be noted about Carolina though. She's white. In fact, almost all the gay representation we saw in comics at the time of Carolina coming out was actually white people. This goes doubly for gay women. While the comics have a few more LGBTQ+ characters who are men of color, like Richter, who is Hispanic, the dating prospects for LGBTQ+ women are blindingly white. Nico represents a change for the better when it comes to representation of LGBTQ+ people of color. There's another problem Nico helps cover as well. Marvel, for all its steps forward, has a bad habit of making bisexuals or pansexuals morally gray characters. Daken, Mystique, Deadpool, they're all examples of bisexual or pansexual comic characters, and this seems to reflect the unfortunate stereotypes that bi or pan people aren't trustworthy, they're sneaky, or manipulative. Nico changes this narrative as well. She's a hero. She is unambiguously good. Unlike Marvel's other bi or pan characters, Nico is someone who can't be portrayed as untrustworthy and who can't choose a side when it comes to morality or sexuality. Nico's refreshing representation for bisexual and pansexual people, especially women of color. You know, I never noticed that before, but this makes sense. As far as like a representation, I don't tend to look at race and color. And people, I recognize everyone's individuality, don't get me wrong, but I definitely stand more on Martin Luther King Jr.'s stance on your moral character. But with that being said, seeing the representation is a pretty cool thing. In 2014, Autostraddle ranked Nico 10th in their 11 female superheroes I wish Marvel would make movies about list. In 2015, Bustle ranked Nico 4th in their 14 female series who deserve stardom list. In 2017, BuzzFeed ranked Nico 10th in their 27 kick-ass female superheroes you'll love if Wonder Woman is your favorite list. In 2018, What Culture ranked Nico 2nd in the Runaways Every Character ranked worst to best. In 2019, CBR, which is Comic Book Resources, so CBR.com ranked Nico 1st on their 10 most powerful members of the Runaways list. 2019 Slideshow included Nico in their Marvel's Most Masterful Witches list. Let's see here. In 2020, Scary Mommy included Nico in her Looking for a Role Model, Marvel list. 2021, Screen Rant included Nico in the 10 most powerful members of Marvel's A-Force. In 2021, CBR, which is comic book resources is big. So CBR.com ranked Nico 4th in their top 10 LGBTQ plus Marvel characters who deserve a solo series list. So that is pretty cool. Let's see here. Nico Minoru appears in a television series set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe portrayed by Lyrica Okano. This version is a student at Midtown School of Science and Technology in Brooklyn and became a goth after her sister's death. Let's see here. An alternate reality version of Nico will appear in the Disney Plus animated series Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is scheduled to come out in 2024. This version will be Peter Parker's classmate at Midtown High School. Nico Minoru appears as a playable character in Marvel's Avengers Alliance, Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Strike Force, Marvel's Avengers Academy, and Nico Minoru's sister Grimm appears in Pinball FX2 as part of Marvel's Women of Power downloadable content. She's a playable character in Marvel Puzzle Quest, and a playable character in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 as part of the Runaways DLC. And she appears as a playable character in Marvel's Midnight Suns, which just came out. This version is a member of the Midnight Suns, whom she joined sometime after the Runaways disbanded. So what a crazy history and power set this hero has. I love it. Let me get my final thoughts in so we can wrap this up. Nico, she is a character that has more potential than she really should. Her powers are mystical, and I compared her to DC's Zatanna, in the fact that she's limited to how she can implement those powers. Zatanna, for her stuff, she has to speak backwards, but Nico has to think of ways to get the same or similar spells done, with the command being able to only be used one time. How do you practice this? It's not like you can cast a spell and then redo it later, you know? You have to be inventive. You have to carry a thesaurus around with you wherever you go. And honestly, how do you remember what term you used before or what term you haven't? What if a word has multiple meanings or sounds like the zombie knot? Would you limit the spells you could do? Or would it have different outcomes because technically you used a word for one thing when it could mean something totally different? Just as we saw with the zombie knot. I'd love to see a series on Nico where she has to learn the true capabilities of her staff and what kind of magic she can really do. She's got to be inventive and clever, which are two of my favorite qualities in a hero. Because it makes for better storytelling. She's got to be level-headed because if she panics, she can't think. And if she can't think, then her spells can't work properly. But there's a lot of internal stuff going on with her, which could make for an excellent solo stories, whether it's in comics, TV, or movies. Like, she's got every bit of potential here for amazing storylines. Like I said, whether it's in any media. Like, I would love a show, I would love a movie. I would love to see her step up as Sorcerer Supreme. And have something in the Doctor Strange series. Like, have her kind of... it sounds bad, but I've got to think from a standpoint from, like a storytelling standpoint from the movies, like MCU. What if she's related to Wong? And they go from there. Just as an Asian character. I know it's cheap. I'm sorry, but, I'm just trying to think of an easy way to connect her into the Doctor Strange universe and then flourish from there. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, you can email me directly at b4itall@yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram under superdeepdive. My DMs are always open, so you can comment and you can send me a message. You can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. Comment, like, subscribe, share. You have any other fun facts? Have any other comments for her? Critiques? I would love to hear it. If you have suggestions for future episodes, let me know. I think it'd be great. But I think I'm going to call it from here. I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone's happy. I hope everyone is safe, and I hope everyone is smart. But if you're not smart, don't get caught. I will see you next week with a new superhero deep dive. Everyone be good. Bye-bye, guys.